frisky.
Let me just check my hair. Alright, let's do this! Yeah. My name is Julia Gat and I'm a photographer from Israel originally, based in France and now graduated in the Willem de Kooning Academy. So I usually work in documentary projects about different subjects. I do a lot of portraiture, a lot of different sorts of commissions, and right now this is my graduation exhibition where I'm showing my project Khamsa Khamsa Khamsa, which is quite a long-term archive project of about my family and my upbringing and our home and the siblings and this sort of stuff. So I remember clearly when I was 10 telling myself that I never want to forget how it feels like to see the world as a child. And since then, really, this is the outlook that I'm trying to have in my work, where everything is new, in like imagination blends with reality, and the unknown is exciting. So this is really like these feelings that I'm trying to bring back in my work. And the project sort of happened because I've always, since I remember, I would photograph my siblings and our daily life, and slowly it became more and more of a conscious desire to open up a dialogue about different ways of learning and of growing up, since we grew up homeschooled, a very specific kind of homeschooling called unschooling, which is quite completely based on personal interests of the child instead of fixed curriculum. So the project became a lot about this community and different sorts of alternatives as well, but the family and the intimacy of the main relationships really stayed the main topic. So I grew up in Israel until I was 10, and then we moved to France until I came here to study. My family is still based in France, and I do go a lot back and forth. Basically have sort of a parallel life between here and France. I kind of fell in love with Rotterdam. Yeah. And there was something about actually the freedom that you could have in Willem de Kooning that was quite attractive for me, because growing up in this structure where a lot was based on personal interests, I really got used to working quite independently and having that freedom of choice of what I want to do and learn and when and how. And there's quite a large freedom or sense of you can make your own choices over there, and for me that was really important. I think naturally I'm attracted to multicultural cities, and there is something about the fact that everyone could sort of feel at home in Rotterdam that really, it felt super welcoming. And in the same time, while everyone are quite nice and welcoming, there's also this like sense of productivity where people are doing stuff and like collaborations happen just like that, and it's super inspiring and amazing. It was quite interesting because it really took 2 months to get used to the vibe of the city, to the energy, to the speed. Everything was, it's a whole different level of doing. But it was really, it was quite a boost, I think, and I definitely kept good contact with some of the people I met over there, and hopefully will come back there in the future, so we'll see. We got it a few months ago, like maybe November or something. And it was through other artists, because the whole block basically is a collection of studio spaces of different artists doing different sort of stuff. Now it's really getting created into this collective that's gonna organize events and exhibitions and probably performances during summer and things like this, also with the shared garden that we have. So there's like a lot of space and a lot of potential and a lot of motivated people. So it's gonna be interesting. Creatively, it was very inspiring because there was a whole lot of just deadline stress that just completely shut down, and suddenly you were in this bubble of just us walking the dog, going to the supermarket for like months. So I think there was something there, not only for me but for a lot of people, that was actually coming to terms with, okay, we have built a certain rhythm so far, and actually now let's try and go back to the source and understand what actually is it in the base of what we like to do. Yeah, I think that was quite a necessary pause for many people, but of course for others it was way more difficult and not at all as calm, I would say. I think there's a lot of things that we learn maybe from this period of just understanding what actually is important, and definitely how we can bring it back. So there's a few things. I think first of all it's definitely a celebration of the in-between moments of the daily life, so really giving space to those mundane banalities of just things that happen between people and their environment, and between people and the photographer and the camera, and all these interactions and connections. And on top of that, bring in the whole concept of freedom within upbringing and education and learning. I definitely hope to open up a dialogue about the different ways we can grow up and understand how freedom manifests itself within the daily. So the thing with my family is that my mother is a painter and my dad is a choreographer, so I think over time my observations really began to stand between group dynamics and composition. And there's a lot that has been inspired by their practice and by my siblings as well, which are either musicians or animators or other things. There's quite a creative hub at home. And I think when I was a kid I would be sort of the silent one and would much more observe what was happening around me, and that's how very quickly they became the main subject. But I think also everyone has a very strong connection to the way that people are defined is very influenced by their family or the people that they grew up around, and I think that's always interesting to look into. I think, funnily enough, there's gonna be quite a shift of offline work and a focus on physical interaction and sort of this understanding of how important it actually is to be in the same space with people and have that eye-to-eye connection. I think that's something that's gonna suddenly be much more respected or seen as sacred almost or something. It is definitely interesting to see how strong social media is in our world. Like this exhibition, everyone who came were from Instagram. That's the only medium I used to communicate it, and it was enough to bring like almost 100 people. So it's quite crazy that how connected and how fast it is, which also means that it is quite dangerous. So I think it's interesting to be aware of that and see how you interact with it, and never to be too dependent on any of those mediums. I think it's so rare these days to have so much reaction on what you do, and it felt super humbling to see all these people that were happy to be here and look at the work and understand what I'm doing, and it was just incredible, actually.